Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest in the series of podcasts with myself, Liam Carroll of SYS Wealth and Financial Planners. And this is the latest in the series of Health for Your Wealth. And the idea behind these podcasts is to meet experienced professionals, and they will give expert advice to people, and thus, as we said, providing health to your wealth. So delighted today to be joined by Roisin Bennett. And Roisin is an award-winning marketer, innovator, and a seasoned entrepreneur. And she's been on a mission to build the ultimate marketing support platform for Irish startups and founders that struggle with their marketing and business growth. And her mission is to make every Irish small business and startup a successful one by working with the best in business marketing mentors. And she's a website which we'll show at the start and the end of the clip, www.marketingmentors.ie. So Roisin, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us this morning.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure, Liam.
Thank you. The first question, Roisin, I think the question we ask people at the start is, the last 12, 14 months, how has COVID affected you, I suppose, firstly from a personal point of view and secondly on a professional basis?
Well, I suppose from a personal point of view, I work from a home office, and I'm well used to being online, and my business is online. But it was a challenge, I must say, being online all of the time, and I had all of the kids were back from college, back from school, all in the same house, and trying to organize a space for them to do their work and keep it separate from work. On a professional level, I was about to launch. I've been building this platform. It's a marketing platform for small business, early stage startups, to give them a platform where they have access to the best marketing advice, the know-how, and support from experienced mentors. And I was about to launch the week before COVID, our accelerator program. It's a 12-week accelerator program. It was a high ticket program, mentor-led, for small business, and we had been building up to this launch, and then it just said no. The timing was wrong. Our program hadn't changed, but our clients and people that would have come on the program, all of their circumstances had changed. So we had just put a halt to it and changed direction and actually pivoted during the year as a result. So it was. I suppose it was all change. I think being a smaller company and a smaller business, it's possible to be a bit more agile. It was difficult for a lot of our clients because it wasn't as easy. But they are the advantages of a startup and early stage business, because Marketing Mentors is a startup and early stage business. So we did have to change focus.
Oh, that's very interesting. And I just reading on the website here, like that you said about building marketing programs that are both accessible and affording to all, offering real support to businesses. And I suppose in the times we're in, with uncertainty around COVID, etc., that's very important for business as well, isn't it, Roisin?
Well, it is. I'm passionate about marketing anyway, Liam, and the importance of it. And there is. I have been a startup. I've had a few previous businesses, and I've made the mistakes. I started a business, and I find with a lot of the startups that I work with, they can have a brilliant idea. They're passionate about what they do, and they're building it. They're building the product maybe without doing the foundational stuff. Yep. And doing the research, doing the marketing, having a marketing-led program, doing the research, really establishing the product market fit, and. And I've done this. I built the product first. I had all the features, but really, was I answering a problem for a business? Was I solving a problem? Yeah. And a lot of small businesses, there is or startups, they do fail. Like there's an 80% failure rate, that fail within the first 2 years, and a lot of that is because, is there a market there for what they're offering, or have they done the research and got the foundations right? Marketing has become a little overwhelming with all the different possibilities and shiny objects and different platforms that one can be on. And sometimes I find business can race into the tactics, but they don't have the foundational stuff done. And that is, establishing your market, what it is your problem, but the problem is that you are solving. What is, I mean, if you are solving a problem for an audience or a particular market, the marketing and sales becomes easy because you're actually solving a problem for them rather than building something with a lot of features and people don't want it.
I suppose the other side is, Roisin, you have been that soldier, I suppose, want a better way of putting it, or maybe you are that soldier to a certain extent, in that you can be very empathetic with small businesses and at the moment the challenges that they feel and how you've overcome them and how you are overcoming them on an ongoing basis. Wouldn't that be fair to say?
Well, that's exactly it. And all of the mentors on my platform have been a small business, are founders and have run business themselves. And that's it. They're experienced in the area. So we have on the platform, there's a combined knowledge and expertise. And then we assign a specialist mentor to a business's needs for their particular business. So it's bringing that. I think that's why we called it the ultimate program, because it's the tried and tested tactics. It's the experience of the mentors, because they've been there before, and building that into a program that is accessible in a way. There's a structure to it so that it's accessible to small business, and we try to make it as affordable as possible, because starting out, let's face it, it's startups, they're cash probably restricted and time, and they a lot of the businesses that I work with they're tech startups and brilliant at what they do. They're totally in that zone, but they don't have the marketing expertise. So this is an opportunity to be able to buy in that expertise.
And your website is fantastic, by the way, and huge information inside in it. But you have huge variety in your background. But any tips for people that, I suppose, that you think is most valuable for people maybe coming out of the COVID, going forward, or something that's maybe totally underused in your industry, Roisin?
Well, I suppose I would say
if I explain that properly, but yes,
to reach out for help and advice, and getting the right advice, you see, is important, because there is mentorship available. There's a lot of different avenues probably one could go down, but getting the right advice at the right time is kind of critical. If you look at some of the kind of famous entrepreneurs and accomplished entrepreneurs, they will cite that having mentorship at an early stage it was kind of key to how they got there. But the important thing, I would say, is to reach out and get advice and get the help at the beginning from people that have walked the walk and had that experience before, because it will avoid the costly mistakes, and I suppose give a focus as well to how you go about developing your business. And it's for sure that somebody has gone your route before, that somebody has had your type of business, and so there's probably a few different categories that we work with. There's the tech SaaS business. There are businesses then that maybe the brick and mortar business that are going online for the first time. So it's a whole different way of doing your marketing. And then just businesses generally, they may be established, but have got stuck in their growth, and they may have done things in a certain way before, but now it's being online is a whole different area, and how to go about doing that. So what we're trying to do is bring that expertise together and make it accessible to show you what works, what doesn't. It takes to help take the overwhelm out of marketing. And also, I think when it comes to there are many opportunities with tech and automation, and that can make your life a bit easier, but it's very overwhelming when you go to check, well, what's right for my business, what will work for me, because I'm really guilty of the shiny object syndrome, and I see new tech and I think, oh my god, this is going to change how I do things, but I have to steer myself back to stay on focus, because I do think I'm guilty of that for sure.
Yeah, back to brass tacks at times, Roisin, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think anybody who's setting up a business or is maybe in business a short time, I know I've had a couple of conversations with you myself, and I found them very beneficial and useful, and people would definitely be wiser after having a chat with you anyway, Roisin, than they were before it. But I suppose just a question for you is something that's totally underused in your industry. So maybe something that you think that something small maybe that people could maybe do better and that they're just not aware of within your industry to make their own business successful.
I would say the importance of building your personal brand, Liam, is something that is very important because there's so that you have your business, you may have a business brand but your own personal brand in that people buy from people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And it has been, we'll say even within the last year, people that had a personal brand, found that they were able to stay in contact. They had I suppose a presence online with a personal brand that people reached out to. They were better positioned, I suppose, to continue doing business with their clients. But personal branding is very important, and I think that it's something. I think in Ireland, I think we're a bit slow to put ourselves out there, and it's something that is. It's something that we help people with on our platform in how to go about that. But it can be very powerful in growing your business as well.
Yeah. Are you saying really like that people buy from people, not from companies, nearly to a certain extent?
And that's more true now than ever before.
They even buy off people on Zoom, isn't that it?
Oh, they do, absolutely.
Not face to face anymore.
The other thing I would say, Liam, is that by being on Zoom, I think it's probably opened people's eyes to the possibility of growing your audience. And like I mentor on other platforms, and it's an international platform, so I have calls with people all around the world, and it's interesting. I have more calls around the world probably than I do from Irish businesses, but it's kind of made the world smaller, and you're building a community. But I feel like I have a great relationship with business. I've only ever met them on Zoom, and
I've only ever met you on Zoom, Roisin. We've never met in person.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we're across the road from each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be meeting down in Finnessey's pub before the end of the year.
In the future, exactly.
But I think so. Also, by being on Zoom, and I think for some small businesses, it's opened up. They've grown their market. When they've embraced it and built their own personal brand online and being prepared to put themselves out there, they've grown their markets. And I take an example probably of some of the retail stores, the fashion shops that have, they've been posting their videos, they've been posting their merchandise. It's the only way they can operate really to showcase their shop. And their audience, some of them have just taken to it like duck to water. And I must say, I really I really admire them.
Fantastic.
And they're consistent. They're consistently there every week, showing their products. And I know, I think a lot of them have been overwhelmed about how their audience has grown. And outside of Ireland, even, not just their local their local community, but outside of throughout the country and outside of Ireland. And so I think they've seen a different way maybe of doing business, and their online business has grown. Yeah. And so there are certainly opportunities. There's certainly opportunities. What's happened, I suppose, is that the online activity and digital has probably been fast forwarded. Let's say about 5 years. It probably was coming down the road, but now it's fast forwarded it, and people have had to, I suppose, they've had to react, out of urgency, really. But it isn't going to change. It's it's going. People have there's a different way of doing things now. So your client and your customers' habits have changed, and it isn't going back. It's only going to continue in that vein. So it's important that people understand that, and that it is a different way of doing business.
Yeah, and that's here to stay. We have 2 questions left, Roisin, before we let you back to your busy busy job. Second last question. we're obviously involved in the financial services side ourselves, but the financial services product, be it a protection product, a pension product, or a savings product, that you found that you would like you took out, or that you'd highly recommend to people in your experience, Roisin?
You'll think now that I was primed to say this, but it was a pension advice that we got back in the boom years. Myself and my husband, we were self-employed, both self-employed in different businesses, and it was a time when things were booming.
Yeah.
And we could have decided to invest in property, or we could have decided to invest. We had a bit, but we were well advised to invest in a pension that has performed well, thank God. But it was very good advice at the time, because when things were good and you had some cash, you think that there aren't going to be bad days, and we could have spent it in another way. But it was the pension scheme was definitely, and also I would say I think sometimes I mean, in the past I would have thought you buy into a pension and you just leave it, you never revisit it. I think it's important to actually know how your pension is performing, and that it can be revisited and looked at, and maybe tweaked and changed according to your needs. So it's I would highly recommend it. Yeah, I think it's benefited us, and it was wise advice at the time.
I would concur with you totally, and thanks very much for sharing that. Last question: the best bit of advice you ever got, be it from maybe a parent, a guardian, a mentor, teacher. What would be the best bit of advice you ever got? Maybe a one-liner or something, Roisin.
Well, I had the great privilege of knowing Dr. Brendan O'Regan. He was a good friend of my father's, and I was a judge at the Irish Coffee Festival out in Foynes, and I was seated beside Brendan, and he was a remarkable man. I mean, we know his achievements, but his interest in people was quite phenomenal. He was there. He was asking me about it, and at the time I had started my first business, and he took his notes out, and he was so interested in what my business was about, and he was taking notes, and I'm thinking, here is this person that but he was so interested in people and the ability of people. And his advice to me, I was telling him about my business at the time. It was kind of a tech customer feedback product, and he said, look at, I said, I'm thinking, he said, small ideas don't work. Think big, he said. So that was his advice. And it just struck me. He said, look, a small idea won't work. Big ideas work.
So what'll happen, Roisin, is that when someone comes in as a small business dealing with you, they'll end up going out as a multinational, isn't that it?
Yeah, we can get them there.
Roisin, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
I highly recommend anybody that is starting up a business, looking to set up business, to have a chat with Roisin. Huge expertise, huge accessibility, and hugely
and very approachable. We're very approachable.
Yeah, very approachable, and so approachable. All her contact details are going to be at the end of the slide, and you're also available to do Zoom calls or face-to-face at a social distance, and telephone calls, the whole lot anyway, Roisin. So
exactly, delighted to help. I mean, we do have, a consultation on discovery call on the website, which is bookable, and it's. Of course, it's complimentary. It's to see if we're a good fit. We want to, we only want to work with businesses that, if we can help them. And
exactly, there's a win-win situation then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Roisin, thank you so much, and thanks to everybody for listening in. And until the next time, stay safe. Thank you very much.
I know.